Good evening. Tonight I would like to talk to you about the Gugwe and the Dogman and their differences and similarities and things that people are reporting. Now, as you know, we've been working on classification on this channel. I think it's important for us to break it down and in the human mind to compartmentalize and give things some context. So you hear me talk about the Gugwe, you hear me talk about the Dogman. I feel there are two separate things going on here and different variations of each. Both are incredibly scary. Both, this is like things nightmares are made of. I don't think these are anything of natural origin, either one of these species. But let's get down into it. We'll talk about the main differences. The main difference between a Gugwe is that they're a large Bigfoot-like creature with a normal leg, with a Bigfoot-like body, a humanoid body. And a Dogman has more of a dog-like leg with the Bigfoot being plantigrade with a foot on the ground and the Dogman being more digigrade with that extended forepaw that acts like a rear hinge with its knee protruding forward. So that seems to be the two primary differences in build. The Dogman described as usually being a lot skinnier, but sometimes with very broad shoulders. Now the Gugwe, like you see an artistic representation here, tends to have a protruding snout, sometimes a shorter protruding snout, sometimes a larger protruding snout, like a very giant Bigfoot-like creature, but carnivorous, also related to a Wendigo species, which seems to not have the snout, but also be carnivorous and like in cold environments. The Gugwes tend to be more in the Midwest, the Missouri and Mississippi River basins and those areas. They are incredibly rare, which is the good news about a Gugwe, but one of the other differences you will see, other than being ape-like, like a baboon or a mandrill, something with a protruding snout, is that they tend to be alone. Most of the stories I've heard, they were alone. Not to say that they don't have family groups, but from their angry distemperament, I can see them only coming together to breed. I see them being pretty lone, ferocious hunters. I've never heard of stories of big packs of Gugwes before. I've always heard of them as being lone and often ferocious, and sometimes even wearing the fur in the colder months of their kill victims. Very horrible stuff. One of the best examples I can give of this, photographic evidence of Bigfoot is rare. So when you get into these different species and subspecies and dogman type creatures, as you can imagine, footage is incredibly rare. So here's one that they call the Beast of Seven Shoots. Look it up. It's pretty famous. It's supposed to be a white dog it's holding in its hands, but you can see a snout there and a protruding brow ridge. Looks like a Bigfoot, but with a snout. Now, when we get into dogmen, this is what you think of an upright walking canine. Some are described with very large shoulders and some are described as large heads. There's different varieties. Go check out my video on it if you want to know more. But the big difference is they have a dog-like leg and more of a dog-like build. But they can stand up. Now, they have been described with having either front paws sometimes or more of a somewhere in between, or even having a human-like hand with claws on it. Different variations. Like I said, I don't think their origins are anything natural. There's no precedence for an upright walking dog. So when it comes down to dogmen, like I said, they've also been spotted in big packs, big numbers of these creatures. I've heard of packs up to 30 and 40s when they attacked houses and ranches. They seem to have a typical group of like a large alpha and subordinates and betas and big giant family group. I'm sure you would like if you saw like a very large pack of wolves. Go check out a documentary on Yellowstone and their packs of wolves and how big they get. And you listen to a lot of dogman stories of where they surround houses and stalk people, and it's very interesting. Although dogmen have been spotted alone in the past as well, I think there's different things going on when people describe dogmen. There's some features to them that seem very much like some kind of wild dog species that stands upright for some reason, and there's other things that seem very supernatural. We're not going to get into too much here, just for our purposes and our edification of what I refer to in my video series. Remember, a Gugwe is a big nasty creature with lots of teeth that has a more human-like, Sasquatch-like body. And a dogman is described as being more of a dog-like body, sometimes with large shoulders, sometimes with no shoulders like you would see of a dog standing up. Different varieties, different variations. So that's it. If you have a different classification, if you think you're called something different, that's fine. If you think I'm all wrong, that's fine too. Like I said, we don't know for sure. This is just what I've based my research on. If you feel I deserve it, please give this video a thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and ring that bell for notifications. We're cranking out a lot of videos lately. I think I got some good stuff on the way. And please stay safe in the woods, folks. Thank you.